In a stunning twist no one saw coming, the judge has just flipped the script literally. After weeks of mounting tension, heated arguments, and high-stakes legal maneuvering, the court has thrown a curveball that could change everything. Just when both sides thought they knew where things were headed, the judge did the unthinkable. He changed his mind. And now, the entire case has been jolted off its original course. This isn't just a minor adjustment, it's a game-changing reversal. Legal teams are scrambling, public reactions are exploding online, and those who thought this was an open and shut situation are quickly realizing they were dead wrong. The implications massive. The timeline accelerated, and the fallout potentially devastating for one side in particular. So, what caused the judge to change his mind? Was it new evidence, public pressure, a powerful argument that struck the right chord at the right time, or is something even deeper at play here, something we haven't seen yet? Whatever the reason, one thing's for certain: this case has entered a brand new chapter, and what comes next will likely define not just the outcome of this legal battle, but possibly the reputations and futures of everyone involved. If you thought things were intense before, buckle up, because with this latest twist, we're no longer watching a courtroom drama, we're watching a legal earthquake unfold in real time. Let's dive into what really happened behind the scenes, what it means for the ongoing war between these powerful players, and how this could flip the entire narrative upside down. Ask checked. When it comes to high-profile legal battles, there are moments that change everything, and today, we witnessed one of those moments. In what could only be described as a jaw-dropping turn of events, the judge presiding over the highly publicized legal clash involving Blake Lively, Reynolds, and a growing number of content creators has officially changed his mind. After what appeared to be a straightforward process was suddenly turned on its head, this new decision has left both legal teams reeling and the public clamoring for answers. Let's rewind just a bit. For weeks, this courtroom has been the center of a media firestorm. It all began with a series of legal actions that many interpreted as an attempt to silence creators discussing celebrity matters, particularly content surrounding the film. It ends with us and the heated commentary about its casting, production, and behind-the-scenes drama. YouTubers, independent journalists, and even some legal analysts started weighing in heavily, noting that this wasn't just about defamation or copyright. It felt like a broader issue of speech criticism and celebrity influence. As these creators began to speak up, court filings started pouring in. Subpoenas were issued, legal threats were flying back and forth, and all eyes turned to one particular courtroom where a judge was set to determine how far these proceedings could actually go. At first, many observers thought the judge was leaning toward favoring the celebrity plaintiffs. His early statements and procedural preferences suggested he was sympathetic to claims of reputational damage and concerned about what he termed digital defamation. But then, in a moment that turned heads across both the legal and entertainment industries, the judge issued a revised ruling. Suddenly, portions of the subpoenas were quashed, requests for certain documents were denied, and most significantly, he signaled that he might be reconsidering the entire framework of the case, especially when it came to evaluating fair use, commentary rights, and freedom of expression on digital platforms. This reversal didn't happen in a vacuum. Insiders close to the courtroom suggest that a number of factors contributed to this pivot. First, a series of powerful amicus brief statements submitted by outside experts may have caught the judge's attention. These briefs, reportedly filed by First Amendment advocacy groups and digital rights organizations, emphasize the growing tension between celebrity-driven litigation and the right of the public to engage in meaningful commentary online. According to sources, these filings laid out a compelling case for why granting overly broad subpoenas could set a chilling precedent for creators everywhere. Second, there's the matter of public scrutiny. The courtroom might be bound by procedure and law, but the court of public opinion plays a massive role in high-profile cases like this one. With each new filing, online discussions exploded, hashtags trended, videos dissecting the legal developments received millions of views. public support for the creators, especially those who made it clear they were offering opinions rather than factual claims, began to mount. In such a climate, it's hard to ignore the impact of public perception, even inside the courtroom. Legal analysts quickly picked up on the shift. Within hours of the judge's announcement, Twitter, now ex-YouTube, and Reddit were flooded with breakdowns of the decision. Prominent legal YouTubers began posting reaction videos titled things like "Judge slams celeb lawyers" and "Free speech wins for now." Their analysis was clear. The judge seemed to recognize that this wasn't just a matter of reputation, it was about precedent, fairness, and constitutional protection in a digital world where commentary and critique happen in real time. And then there's the role of Justin Baldoni, director and star of It Ends With Us, who, while not directly involved in the legal filing, has increasingly been seen as a quiet but eyeballed voice behind the scenes. His recent comments at a press event suggested he valued creators and believed in the right to public discourse, even if it was critical. Some are speculating that this stance may have indirectly influenced public opinion and created subtle pressure for a more balanced judicial review. With the judge's new position, what does this mean moving forward? First, it gives a clear signal to the celebrity legal team that the court isn't going to rubber stamp every demand. That alone could change their entire strategy. Rather than pushing aggressively against content creators, they may now be forced to reconsider how their legal arguments are framed, possibly leaning more toward resolving the matter through public statements or media outreach rather than courtroom escalation. Second, it opens the door for content creators to push back. And with the judge's recent shift, several YouTubers and legal commentators have already filed new motions asking the court to reconsider past decisions or strike certain subpoenas entirely. They argue that their work falls squarely within the bounds of protected speech, particularly under fair use doctrine. Let's also not forget the broader impact on the creator economy. This case was never just about one or two individuals. It became a symbol of a growing concern that powerful public figures might use legal tools to chill online commentary. With this new ruling, creators across platforms are breathing a cautious sigh of relief. Many now feel emboldened to speak their minds, knowing that the judicial system may be more receptive to their rights than previously feared. Still, this is far from over. Legal experts caution that while the judge's change of heart is significant, it doesn't mean the case is dismissed or resolved. There are still multiple hearings scheduled in the coming weeks, and new evidence could always shift the balance again. The celebrity team may file appeals, attempt to reword their requests, or pursue other legal avenues to maintain control of the narrative. But what this twist does offer is clarity. This case is not as cut and dried as it once appeared. The legal playing field is evening out. And for the first time in weeks, it seems like both sides are being heard. In the next part of this series, we'll break down the most critical moments from the revised court order, including exact language the judge used that shook legal teams, and explore how creators are beginning to organize, strategize, and prepare for what could be the biggest digital free speech showdown of the decade. Stay tuned as cameras flashed outside the courthouse and social media buzzed with reactions. Something extraordinary was unfolding behind closed doors. The courtroom, packed with attorneys, clerks, and a handful of press observers, fell into a stunned silence as the judge read aloud his new position. It wasn't just the change that shocked everyone, it was the way he framed it. The judge, known for his methodical and deliberate tone, began by referencing recent case law surrounding the rights of online commentators, especially those covering public figures and matters of public interest. He cited multiple precedents that emphasized how the internet has become the new town square, a space where opinion, satire, critique, and commentary are not only protected, but essential to democratic dialogue. He then directly addressed what he called the overbreadth of the subpoenas initially granted to Blake Lively's legal team. There is a fine line, he said, between seeking accountability for harmful speech and overreaching into the domain of lawful opinion, that line in this court's view must be drawn with clarity and caution. That single sentence would soon be quoted everywhere, from news sites to law school blogs to creator live streams dissecting every legal nuance. The most powerful part of his statement came when he invoked the concept of proportionality. The judge questioned whether the scope of the legal demands made sense given the nature of the commentary. In other words, was it truly necessary to subpoena personal information, private communications, or unedited content from creators simply because they criticized a movie or its cast? His conclusion was a resounding no. As he spoke, the expressions on the attorneys' faces told a clear story. The celebrity legal team, who had likely anticipated a more favorable outcome, were visibly rattled. Papers were shuffled. Notes were exchanged. It was clear they hadn't expected the judge to reverse course so firmly and so publicly. On the other side, the creators' attorneys remained composed, but the relief was palpable. For many of them, this was a moment of validation, proof that the fight for fair treatment in court was not in vain. After his statement, the judge issued several new orders. First, he quashed 3 specific subpoenas that had been sent to prominent YouTubers, ruling them overly invasive and unnecessary. Second, he stayed the enforcement of additional discovery actions pending further review, signaling a broader reassessment of how this case would proceed. Third, and perhaps most critically, he ordered both parties to attend a mandatory conference to discuss alternative resolutions, including mediation. This conference, scheduled for the following week, could be pivotal. Rather than moving straight to trial, the judge seems to be encouraging a dialogue that might resolve the case without further escalation. That's a notable shift. It suggests he sees room for compromise and maybe even reconciliation between the parties. But whether either side is willing to come to the table in good faith remains to be seen. Back outside the courthouse, news crews rushed to get reactions from both legal camps. While the celebrity attorneys declined to comment directly on the ruling, one spokesperson issued a carefully worded statement: "We respect the court's ongoing diligence in this matter and remain committed to protecting our client's reputation and privacy." It was a diplomatic message, but insiders say the mood behind closed doors was one of concern. Meanwhile, creators were far more vocal. Several posted instant video reactions. One prominent legal commentator said this is a major win, not just for the individual creators, but for the entire creator economy. Today's ruling sends a message that you can't silence fair commentary just because you don't like it. Others echoed this sentiment, noting that the court appeared to be taking a stand for balance, recognizing both the rights of public figures and the legitimate space occupied by digital commentators. In the days following the hearing, the internet exploded with analysis. Articles appear in outlets like The Hollywood Reporter, Variety, and Rolling Stone, all of them framing the decision as a moment of reckoning in the ongoing tension between celebrities and creators. Headlines read: "Judge pushes back against overreach in Blake Lively case," and "Digital speech gets a win in surprise court reversal." The press wasn't settled. This twist had all the ingredients of a landmark moment. One of the more interesting developments came from the creator community itself. Several affected YouTubers who had previously been acting independently began forming a loose coalition. Some retained the same legal teams. Others started coordinating messaging. A few even hinted at the possibility of launching a joint platform, one that would advocate for creator rights, offer legal resources, and provide guidance for others facing similar issues. In other words, this wasn't just about defending themselves anymore. They were going on the offensive, turning defense into momentum. In addition, a few key allies stepped forward. Advocacy groups that had initially stayed neutral started speaking out. The Digital Freedom Foundation, a nonprofit focused on internet rights, issued a public statement applauding the judge's change of stance. "We are encouraged to see the judiciary take a nuanced and principled approach to digital speech," they wrote. "This ruling affirms that public figures do not have unchecked power to suppress lawful commentary online. Even some media personalities and fellow celebrities chimed in. While most chose to stay out of the fray, a few notable voices, including actors, authors, and podcasters, posted cryptic but telling messages on social media. One tweet that went viral read, "If you can't take the heat, don't light the fire. Criticism is part of the job." It didn't name names, but the subtext was unmistakable. As all of this unfolded, attention turned back to the courtroom. What would happen next? What would this mean for the creators who had yet to be served with the celebrities double down or pivot toward a softer, more PR-friendly approach? At the heart of it all was one undeniable truth: the judge's words had shifted the center of gravity in this case. What once felt like a sweeping legal campaign had become something more uncertain, more contested, and far more balanced. Legal experts believe the next few weeks will be critical. The court-mandated conference could open the door to resolution or escalate the conflict even further. If mediation fails, the trial will proceed with revised parameters. But the judge's recent statements suggest he'll be watching both sides very closely to ensure fairness. For now, creators are cautiously optimistic. Many say they're ready to defend their rights to critique, comment, and analyze, especially when it comes to public figures and popular media. But they also acknowledge that the fight isn't over. As one YouTuber put it, "We may have won this round, but we're still in the ring." In Part 3, we'll examine the legal strategies both sides are now deploying, how the celebrity legal team is trying to recover from this loss, what the creators are doing to build strength, and why this could become a precedent-setting case for internet law moving forward. The stakes have never been higher, and the next moves could determine everything. What began as a seemingly one-sided legal campaign by powerful celebrity figures has now morphed into a defining moment in the battle between online creators and those seeking to control the narrative. The judge's decision to reverse course sent shockwaves across the courtroom and the broader digital landscape. It wasn't just a procedural shift, it was a powerful reminder that even in high-profile cases with intense public scrutiny, fairness, balance, and the core principles of free speech must remain intact. This legal showdown has exposed a deeper issue that creators, journalists, and viewers have long felt brewing beneath the surface: the power imbalance between celebrity influence and independent commentary. When large public figures pursue legal routes to challenge content they disagree with, the fear is not always about losing in court, it's about the chilling effect it may have on those who feel too intimidated to speak at all. But this ruling turned that fear into fuel. It has sparked not only hope, but also solidarity among those who make a living and a difference by analyzing, critiquing, and holding public narratives accountable. The judge's clear message about the importance of proportionality, relevance, and legal restraint now stands as a benchmark in how digital speech should be treated in courtrooms going forward. It is no longer enough to claim reputational harm. Courts are demanding evidence, balance, and proof that legal actions are necessary and justified, not just strategically advantageous. That's a huge win for anyone who values digital expression and transparency. But let's be honest, this fight is far from over. While the creators may have gained momentum, the legal process is ongoing. More motions will be filed, more hearings will take place, and both sides are preparing for the possibility of a full-scale trial if resolution through dialogue fails. The celebrity legal teams, no doubt, are rethinking their tactics, possibly exploring proof-based solutions or new legal theories that could help reclaim the upper hand. What's changed now, though, is the atmosphere. The intimidation that once loomed large over the heads of creators has cracked. The fear that one critical video could land someone in court has begun to dissolve, and the growing awareness among the public that this is about more than one film or a few internet personalities has turned this case into something symbolic. A line has been drawn, and now everyone is watching. Whether this ends in a settlement, a verdict, or a further public showdown, the precedent has already been set. Creators aren't just background noise, they're stakeholders in the cultural conversation. They deserve respect, protection, and a place at the table. And if this case continues to unfold, as we may look back at this moment as the one that changed everything, stay informed, stay critical, and most of all, stay loud.